In this video, I want to show you how you can absolutely crush it as a recruiter right now. It's going to be about winning as a recruiting professional and billing huge fees. I'm going to show you how to make $1 million this year in 5 steps. I will also be sprinkling in some bonus pro tips to help you get to 2 million a year, because remember, 1 million is just a start. Why should you listen to me? Because at the peak of my individual contributor recruiting days, I billed $2.5 million in 1 year, and then I scaled my recruiting business to a team of 20 and 3 brick and mortar locations before it was purchased by a much larger agency. Since then, I've been helping launch 7 and 8 figure staffing and recruiting businesses such as Restaurant Zone and Keeple, and I will make sure that you get there too if you're ready to commit. Step 1. First, let's do the math, okay? It's time to reverse engineer what sort of activity numbers are going to be required in order to hit our goal of $1 million. $1 million a year is $84,000 per month. So how many placements do you need to make in order to hit 84K every month? Well, that math is pretty easy, and the activities you need to do to get there are really not unreasonable. Take your average fee amount, use it to divide 84,000. Let's pretend your average fee is 12K. 84K divided by 12K is 7. So you would need 7 placements per month. So far, this is pretty easy math. Obviously, if your placement fees are higher, you need less placements to make your 84K. But it's not that simple, because remember that the higher the salary, typically the longer the sales cycle is, and therefore it can take longer to make a placement. But as long as you always have a pipeline in motion, this really shouldn't matter. This will only matter for the first couple of placements, and then once you get going, you should have things closing every month if you stay consistent. Now, if you're doing executive level recruitment, some of those fees can easily be 84K each. And therefore, as long as you're closing 1 a month, obviously you're in good shape. So maybe for some of you, that's your answer. Work on roles where you can collect 84K in fees for each placement. P.S. It's actually possible to make 500K placements. Yes, you heard that right. 500K per placement. Pro tip, just do 2 500K placements and then you're gold for the whole year. So what activity numbers can you expect to complete in order to make 7 placements per month? Just reverse engineer based on how many conversations and campaigns and outbound messages it takes for every placement that you make historically. Once you arrive at these numbers, you'll know what sort of input you need to get your output. Step 2, structure your day for success. At the beginning, you might be doing everything yourself, so it's going to be more work. So you have to make sure you use your time in the most optimal way possible. As you get going, you should start outsourcing and delegating some of this work. But when you first start out, I'm going to assume that it's all on you. So here's the first thing you should do when you wake up and start running your desk. You want to start by looking for new low-hanging fruit every morning. And what I mean by that is check for new candidates on the job boards. It's a race to get these folks. You got to be the first to contact them. These are the people that are active and that all the recruiters can contact. Sometimes you're going to come across a gold nugget. So you got to keep your eyes open right there every single day. Then you want to check for new solid applicants to your job ads and responders to your message campaigns. You want to get the best candidates booked in for your afternoon recruiting calls. Then you want to do bulk and one-to-one business development every single morning. So what should that look like? First, you're going to launch a new bulk campaign every morning to cold prospects by choosing in-demand job ads, determining hiring manager titles that would require these types of people, filtering for these hiring managers on Sales Navigator, scraping the emails using a data harvesting application, and then running cold emails to these hiring managers, pitching an inventory of talent to satisfy their pain points. Then you want to add a new bulk lead gen campaign every single day. After launching your bulk campaign, focus in on 2 solid hours of one-to-one marketing. Now, what this means is that you should have a top 20 list of your top avatar companies that you know fit your niche perfectly and that you are well positioned to work with. Then you want to personalize your messaging to the right hiring managers within these organizations. You can also do one-to-one marketing to companies who have just posted jobs in your niche within the last 7 days. And you can easily find these on job boards, of course. So how do you know what sort of messaging to send to the hiring managers? Well, keep in mind that they list their pain points right on their websites, okay? Go to their websites, career pages, and LinkedIn company pages, and determine what their top pain points are in terms of hiring. Then you want to send them one-to-one messaging that is personalized and markets inventory that proposes to solve the pain point of the hiring managers that you identified. For example, if your niche is the construction industry and your top prospects seem to require civil engineers with experience in, for example, heavy industrial, bridges, and marine construction, well, right away, you know the types of profiles that you need to pitch. Your one-to-one marketing should get a much higher response rate than your bulk marketing because you are crafting messaging specifically for the hiring manager that you want to work with, and you're appealing directly to their pain that you have discovered with your research. Next, you want to be following up on the leads that have come in from the day before, either with phone calls or with follow-up emails. Leads that come in are not just going to immediately invite you in for a meeting typically right away. There's going to be a little bit of dialogue there that's got to take place between a prospect showing interest and then having a sales conversation. So take some time around maybe lunch hour to respond to prospects that have shown some interest and keep that dialogue going and work towards booking a call. So in terms of how you can structure the rest of the day, you want to refresh your job ads, you want to run an in-mail campaign to relevant candidates, especially new active candidates and open to work candidates that are qualified. You want to complete your recruiting calls that you set up earlier in the morning. You want to proactively market new good candidates that you just met to existing clients, and you want to present new candidates to clients at the end of the day. Congratulations. If you did all of this, not only are you well on your way to 84K by the end of the month, your day will have absolutely flown by. Step 3, tighten up your range. As you saw in step 2, if we're not careful, we can spend infinite amounts of time on the activities of recruiting and business development, but you don't have infinite time, do you? You have very limited time. And so really what this is this is a game of who can spend their time the wisest. It's all about who can invest their time in the best way. You need to be the Warren Buffett of time investing. As recruiters, we don't buy our product with money or produce it through the means of production. We use our process and our time to acquire our quote unquote product. The more you can leverage process, the more you can save time. Therefore, we want to reduce the amount of activity required to hit our numbers. We do this by tightening the range of candidates that we're willing to invest time into and protecting our time. Oftentimes, when new people first start out as recruiters, they are very experimental when it comes to meeting with candidates. Sometimes they're willing to try to help everybody. Sometimes they're willing to spend time with candidates that are long shots. I've seen recruiters who waste a lot of time with candidates who will absolutely never get placed. And when it really comes down to it, oftentimes the core factor that separates the super successful from the rest is the ability to invest time wisely. To do this, it's important to get a very deep understanding of what it takes to fill roles in your niche and with your clients specifically. A good way to start is by analyzing who has been hired at the company in the past. And you can usually start doing this very easily. All you have to do is fire up Sales Navigator or fire up LinkedIn Recruiter, look inside the company. If you look in the company and filter by title, you can see what kinds of people have been hired in the past. You can start to notice patterns. You can start to notice what types of companies the people who work there have had experience with in the past. You might start to get a sense for cultural fit within the organizations. You might start to get a sense for whether or not people in the company tend to be educated onshore or abroad. You might get a sense for whether the company is willing to hire seasoned veterans or if they tend to look for more youthful talent. The point is, you want all the insight you can get. This is so you don't waste your time with people you can't place and who the company is not likely to hire. Remember that your candidate has to not only be good enough to get hired, they also have to be good enough to justify paying your fee. So in many cases, a candidate that comes from a recruiting agency like yours has to be a step above a candidate that a company might hire directly themselves. So the more of a sharpshooter you become, the less activity numbers it takes to hit your goals. Step 4, grow your leverage. So in step 3, we talked about how we can pare down the amount of activities required to hit the numbers that we need to hit by sharpshooting. To go a step further, we also want to build more leverage so that you can deploy other people's time in addition to your own on the activities that still need to be completed. So there are 3 core activity areas where leverage can be deployed fairly early on with minimal risk and minimal cost. In other words, there are 3 main activities and tasks that you can delegate affordably and reliably. The first is by engaging in splits with recruiters who are willing to essentially work for commission only and split in your commissions by supplying candidates for your clients. With these recruiters, you will give them the details of your job orders and present their candidates to your clients. If their candidates are hired, then you will split your fees with them. By the way, if you're interested in doing splits, check out sevenfigurestaffing.com and get in touch with me because I can hook you up. The second way is by hiring offshore sourcers who you train to run recruitment campaigns that generate inbound candidate opportunities. These folks will be campaign builders and in-mail credit investors. They will specialize in getting outbound messaging to relevant people. The third way is by outsourcing your bulk business development lead generation campaigns. Remember earlier on we said we want to add a new bulk campaign every single day. This is definitely an activity that you can train someone else to do. And again, you can deploy offshore resources for this task. If you grow your leverage in these 3 ways, you're going to be able to bring on way more business and make way more placements with way less effort in far less time. Step 5, hone your candidate management and offer management process and skills. You can follow steps 1 to 4 perfectly and still lose out in the end if you don't know how to manage candidates through the entire recruitment cycle process. Managing candidates requires that you stay in touch with them, requires that you prep them for interviews. You have to debrief with them after each step in the interview process. It's never a good idea to assume that candidates know how to interview in the most optimal way just because they seem like they're senior and have a lot of experience. At the very least, it helps to give as much insider information as you can with regards to what you know about the hiring process and internal insights with your client. I have an entire offer management training module that I'll be releasing here on this YouTube channel. But in the meantime, the one critical tip that I'll give you now is that you should always make your offers in 2 steps. Always make sure there is a debrief prior to presenting an offer or even indicating that there is an offer for a candidate available. If you tell the candidate that they're getting an offer too early and before you've properly debriefed them, you can wind up giving away all your leverage in the situation and fumbling the whole deal on the goal line. This is the absolute worst situation to be in because you end up wasting tons of your time investment that has already been made and you can't get it back. So it's very important to treat this step extremely carefully. Make sure you debrief with the candidate and know whether or not they're even interested in moving forward with an offer. You have to recap what other offers are competing with yours. You have to recap their motivations, their interest level in the role, and you have to close them properly on compensation prior to going into an offer call at all. Therefore, if you have not covered this information Do not move to an offer presentation regardless of whether or not you have an offer in your back pocket. As I said, I'm going to be presenting much more offer management information on this channel, so please stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you want to learn a whole lot more about how to grow your recruitment practice, make sure you like and subscribe. Apparently you got to click a bell as well. Just do all the YouTube-y stuff that you're supposed to do, and then check out this other video right here. Make sure you watch the whole thing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.